Okay. Some new faces and okay then, let's get started now. So, the older students are joined by the new students now. So, you know we have these cycles of relay sessions. So, these are the entry points we have, and now with population and settlement, okay, we have this as a part of human geography. Okay, so one batch starts from here. So all the new students, welcome, and the old students, we shift gears now. We have done some topics in some ways. Now we'll have a bit more of human geography. So the new students, I think some of you have been very restless last couple of days because I got late with my last batch. It took me about 10-12 days more. I had planned by wind up by January 10th, but then we got a bit late. That's how your session also gets late. Nevertheless, you had your mapping sessions, you had your basic geography, landforms. Some of you have covered all of that. So welcome all of you once again. And online, yes, we also have students online who are the new ones, Gaurav Tiwari, Dilip, Sunaina, Atul Bansal. Okay, others I know you more or less. Okay. So those not initiated, I'll just take few minutes to initiate the topics. So your geography optional, we divide broadly into paper 1 and we have paper 2. Paper 2 is India geography and paper 1 is world geography. World geography you divide into 2 blocks. We have the world physical geography. By physical geography we mean study of whatever is natural in the world. Okay? And we have human geography. So human geography, whatever is the consequence of man's activities. Man's activities is human geography. Man's activity is population, settlement, agriculture, industries, geopolitics, economic geography, which is development, trade, transport, ये सारा human geography है. There is relationship between them, but then it's not that you can't study this without knowing this. Okay, it's possible you can. And Indian geography वैसा ही है. In Indian geography, just the first unit, जो पहला unit है, which is India physical. Okay, all the other units are India human geography. So in both the papers there are 10 units. There are 10 units here and there are 10 units here. In paper 1, 5 units are physical, 5 units are human aspects. in paper 2, just 1 is physical, 9 topics are human aspects. So one of the common problem that students face is, sir, how do we remember landforms? There are so many landforms. Sir, how can we remember climate? Okay, we get confused about climates. How do we memorize all the different places? So while your concern is fine, but understand in our syllabus, ये दोनों छोटा part है. Landform is just one topic of the big unit. Okay, यहाँ पर भी वैसे ही है. The bigger part of geography is the human aspects. Most of us do not have this appreciation, and then we decide or not decide on the basis of whether we can remember landforms or not. That's a wrong way of approach. Okay, so you can start geography in physical. You have got geomorphology, you have got climate, you have got oceans, you have got environment. You can start geography anywhere. You can start geography from geomorphology, you can start geography from climate, you can start geography from oceans, you can start geography from environment. Okay, so these are different ways of how you can have your entry points, and accordingly you will finish your syllabus. Okay, so for you guys who have joined us fresh today, we are starting with human geography. Now, one teaching approach I have is, in most human aspects, I teach paper 1 and 2 together. I'll start with population geography paper 1. I'll take you towards population geography paper 2. I'll start with settlement geography paper 1. I'll take you towards settlement geography paper 2. Okay, वैसे ही आपका जहां पर overlaps हैं. Okay, let's say we have some overlap with environment and soils and soil problems. I'll link that with India also. When I'm doing forests of the world, I'll do forest of India also. Okay, you'll all understand this linkage eventually. But for now, we're starting with population geography. Okay, so that's one part. Now, your reference books for this unit kya hoga? All the new students, I believe you must have got a list of books you must buy. There are 8-9 books. My recommendation, don't bargain on those books. Like as in, sir, isko le, nahi le. 5-6 किताब हैं, 6-7 क्लास के books हैं, सारे books ले लो. Okay, so you have for human geography, one common book for a couple of units is Human Geography by Majid Hussain. By Majid Hussain. So I am carrying my 5th edition with me. In the market, you might either have 5th one or you can have the 6th edition. You can buy either of them. So those who are buying new, you can buy 5th or 6th one, or the 5th one is also fine. That's one book you must buy. Another book is Models in Geography. This also by Majid Hussain. Okay, I have not bought that book. And these 2 books you'll require across 5 units. You'll study population, settlement, geographical thought. You'll need this for models and theories in geography. So there are many different topics in which you'll use this. So isko aap le lo, no problem, these 2 books. Now, there is an Indian geography book, Geography of India, by D.R. Khuller. So my older students, you should all have this. The new ones must buy this also. So when I move towards Indian geography, then I will refer to this book. So these 3 books are important for the present unit. What was that? What should be our approach and from where we should prepare the first question of paper 2? That's mapping. Beta, thoda sa फेस डिफरेंस है मेरे आप में. एक तो in general I hate this word called approach. और एक गंदा पॉलिटिकल वर्ड है स्ट्रेटेजी. ये पूछने वाले को पता नहीं होता है क्या पूछ रहा है. सो व्हाट्स द स्ट्रेटेजी? घर से निकलो, कपड़े पहन के निकलो, टेक अ मेट्रो, गो टू क्लास, सिट इन द क्लास, कम बैक होम. दैट्स अ स्ट्रेटेजी. अप्रोच क्या है? फोकस करो ठीक से. Okay, learn a bit of writing, learn to memorize. Okay, so ये जो questions है ना, approach क्या है, focus क्या है? Honestly, if you ask me, learn the process. Okay, process is किसके बाद क्या पढ़ा जाता है और कैसे पढ़ा जाता है. Like say, I will not start your your topics of geography from Indian geography. Sequence hoga, I will teach first world geography, then I'll teach you Indian geography. I will not teach you applied aspects before I have taught you the concepts. So the process is know the sequence of study, and you must know what are the components. Okay, components as in, when I say study, what does study include? Study includes your classes, daily summary writing. It includes some bit of book reading. It includes looking up L1 and L2 level questions, and then probably answer writing. So Priyanshu, I do not know आपने कैसे पढ़ाई किया है. Okay, so I do not know your notes, so I can't comment on what your method should be. Maybe find time to talk to me separately, I'll help you. Others, please avoid these words. As long as you are with me, your objective is keep pace with me. मैं जिस pace में जा रहा हूं, whatever I am teaching, your pace work is three things. Be in class every day for the class notes. Make sure same day you prepare the summary of the class notes. And as and when I tell you the book pages, you do the book readings too. And add the book reading to summary or to your notes. That's all. बस इतना काम करो. And end of the module, or we'll tell you when, you will also have your answers. Generally, Saturdays and Sundays we keep for some writing work, 2, 3, 4 questions. Okay, so you maintain pace with me. That's all. Nothing extra reading. Okay, extra reading I'll let you know when you have to do. अभी इतना ही रखो आप लोग. ठीक है, online and offline, all of you. Okay, so that's about your books here. Now, like I said, the first topic is population. So let me show you the syllabus once, and all of you can write those down as a part of your notes. The syllabus of population geography. The syllabus of population geography. So let me these topics. Write down, please, all of you. I hope you all can see the topics, or maybe I will. Yeah, that's clear now. This is paper 1, section B ka part hai. Paper 1, section B, and write down these, please. The syllabus is causes and consequences of migration. Write one below another. Causes and consequences of migration. A concept of over, under, and optimum population. causes and consequences of migration, concepts of over, under, and optimum population, then growth and distribution of world population. The third is the growth and distribution of the world population. Then population theories. Population theories. World population problems and policies. World population problems and policies. Demographic attributes. Demographic attributes. Social well-being. Social well-being and quality of life. Social well-being and quality of life. And population as social capital. Population as social capital. All done, all of you? So this is something in fact all of us as teachers insist on. Be good with knowing your syllabus, exactly what are the topics in syllabus. Know this well. Now there are some topics of population geography in other units, okay, which I'll teach together. Let's say there's one topic called as perspectives in human geography. Is section B paper 1 का पहला unit है, first unit. It says perspective in human geography. In this topic or in this unit, the population topics are religions, languages. लिख लो, write down. Okay, population geography topics in perspective of human geography. Population geography topics in perspectives of human geography. The topics are religion, languages, human development index, and cultural regions of the world. Human development index and cultural regions of the world. This I will teach while I am teaching population itself. There are some more population topics in economic geography. Okay, topics like food and nutrition problems, famines, likho. Food, nutrition problems, famines, cause and effect, cause-effect remedies, and food security. Food nutrition problems, famines, cause, effect, remedies, and food security. So, ये topic is related to population. When I am teaching population problems of the world, I will add the problems of food and nutrition also. Because see, in your topic of population geography, it says, अभी लिखा आप लोगों ने, you wrote about world population problems, right? Okay, so world population problem includes poverty problems, it includes hunger problem, it includes problems of famines. Okay, so I'll teach those topics right here. वैसे it talks about population or demographic attributes. Attributes में you must know the population composition. Okay, who are the people who make up our population? उसमें race आएगा, religion आएगा, उसमें cultures आ जाएगा, ठीक है? So that's one. Then you have some topics of population in models and theories. Last unit of paper 2. Okay, it includes population topics in models and theories. This is last unit of paper 1. Topics like a Malthusian Marxian demographic transition model. These are actually population growth theories हैं ये. Malthusian, Marxian and demographic transition models. So that's how your syllabus is mentioning these topics. देखो, in population geography, there was one topic called as population theories. देखो यहाँ लिखा हुआ है, theories लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पर, और theories का detail, which one is in syllabus, is mentioned in the last unit. So when I'm teaching population, I'll teach all these topics together at one place. Okay, then I'll move on towards paper 2. Okay, that's the scope of population geography. Now, write down some questions asked in the previous years on population. Okay, so I'm giving you the questions now. Aap likh lo. On the dashboard or on your Telegram group, I will share the compilation of last 10 years previous years questions. My recommendation to all of you is that take a printout, and like I have made a small booklet like this, okay, a spiral bound booklet. You maintain a booklet like this and try getting the booklets to class, okay, as frequently as possible. For every topic we teach, I'll try showing you at least whenever possible what are the questions asked. Okay, so 2024 mein, last year, what's the question? Write the question. So write down PYQs of population geography. PYQs of population geography. So in 2024, the question asked was, in developed countries, migration rather than fertility. In developed countries, migration rather than fertility will remain the main driver of population dynamics. In developed countries, migration rather than fertility will remain the main driver of population dynamics over the next few decades. Over the next few decades. Examine the statement. Examine the statement. So this is a question from migration. Okay. तो क्या पूछना चाह रहा है? I will explain eventually. But for now, it's saying that in developed countries, the growth of population will not happen because of birth rates. The growth will happen because of migrations. As the people migrate into Norway, Sweden, Britain, as people migrate into Canada, that will decide their growth of population and not their birth rates. So you can explain with examples, whatever. This is a 2024 question. In 24, surprisingly, we just had one question from population geography. Otherwise, you have generally 2 or 3 questions hote hain. In 2023, write the questions now. In 2023, the questions were, is a statement, the stages of demographic transition, the stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven economic development. The stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven economic development. Explain with examples. Explain with examples. This question is a mix of 2 units. They have combined migration topic with development topic or with disparity topic. Okay, so within bracket mention that a link between migration and disparity in development. A link between migration and disparity in development. ये question था. Another question 2023 में, what is the relationship between gender equity and human development? What is the relationship between gender equity and human development? Provide a list of commonly used gender related indices. Provide a list of commonly used gender related indices. In the syllabus, there's one topic called demographic attributes. In a population, tell me about sex ratio, tell me about literacy rates, tell me about age composition, tell me about structure of population. So this is sex ratio question, okay, and this is part of demographic attribute and also development, okay. So it includes women issues and development. So this is one question. Another question likho. Human, again same year 23 mein hi hai. Provide a list of commonly used gender related indices. Provide a list of commonly used gender related indices. There are some indices that tell us about levels of gender development. जैसे sex ratio सुना आपने, sex ratio है, वैसे gender empowerment measure है, gender development index है, GDI, GDM, sex ratio, child sex ratio, gender empowerment ratio. Okay, these are some of the indices asking right about that. Okay. Take up the next question, 23 mein hi hai. A human migration is a reflection of balance between push and pull factors. Balance between push and pull factors. Elaborate with reference to the most recent. Elaborate with reference to the most recent diaspora. Most recent diaspora. So this is a question on migration. Okay. Migration question. Elaborate in reference to the most recent diaspora. D-I-A-S-P-O-R. Diaspora are people of Indian origin living outside India. They are the diaspora of India. एक और भी question है 23 में. The Malthusian theory has been discredited. Sorry, the question is, has Malthusian theory been discredited in contemporary times? Has Malthusian theory been discredited in contemporary times? Justify your answer. This is a question on population growth theories. Population growth theory. Okay. Then 22 का question लिखो. I'll give you 2-3 years questions. Then you go back in your room and again check what has been asked. In 22, the question was, how migration is affected by push and pull factors? How migration is affected by push and pull factors. Explain how these factors play a role in understanding new settlement patterns. How the factors play a role in understanding the new settlement patterns, yes. the new settlement patterns. This is a question between migration and settlements. They again have interlinked. 2021 में question है, 21 question. Aging population has adverse social and economic consequences. Aging population has adverse social and economic consequences. Explain with examples. Explain with examples. This is 2021. I'll give you the last one. One question in 2020. Compare Malthusian and New Malthusian perspectives. Compare Malthusian and Neo Malthusian, M-A-L-T-H-U, and Neo Malthusian perspectives in the context of population growth, resource use, and environmental impact. In the context of population growth, resource use, and environmental impact. देखो 2023 में भी इसी टोन में क्वेश्चन था. Is Malthus relevant in contemporary times or not? So you'll find this again is a question on population, problems of environment link किया हुआ है, and the problems of economic sustainability linked to 2-3 topics. You're seeing good number of questions have inter-topic linkages. ठीक है? So back in your room, you can again look up and see what type of questions are asked. Yeah? आप बताओ. So L1, L2, you can discuss only after I've done the syllabus first. Right? अभी तो सब आपके लिए L1 से सब कुछ आपको L3 लगेगा. Okay, your friend asked a question. I'll explain that to you. So there are 3 type of, this is how I classify. L1 questions are the easiest questions. They are straight questions. Directly from the notes or directly from the books. You are 100% expected to know this. Okay? We call those as L1 questions. जैसे write a note on Malthus theory. इसमें कोई doubt नहीं है कि ये तो पता ही होना चाहिए. Write a note on sex ratio variations of India. Write a note on the problems or the causes and consequences of migrations in the world. It's a straight question directly from the syllabus. Okay. And you must know this question confidently. L2 questions require interlinkages. Okay. The questions are not very straight. जैसे पूछा आपको gender issues and equity पूछा आपको, link कर दिया 2 topic. और Malthus theory link with resource sufficiency, link with environmental problems. Okay. Or they can ask you, say a topic on migration and birth rate of developed countries. So they are interlinking. And L3 questions are applied in nature. They are related to some contemporary issue. They require a higher level understanding. Sometimes they are also beyond syllabus. L2 you can see as a transition type. देखो, for example, this question, migration and birth rate, or migration and developed countries. You can treat it like an L2 question. You can also treat it like an L3 question. In L3 question, I'll start talking about current affair based issues. I'll talk about what are the challenges related to these migrations. So you can see most questions asked are not L1 type. They are either L2 or L3 type. In our course that we will have, foundation course, you can solve almost all L1 and you can solve some L2. L3 आप नहीं कर पाओगे अभी आप. For L3, you need more writing practice, you need more extra concepts, you require a bit more of extra reading in some places. So the questions I discussed right now, most of them are L2 or L3 types. ठीक है, जैसे gender development indicators. Okay, this is not a part of syllabus. Okay, you have to do this extra beyond syllabus. It becomes L3 type. Answer your question? Okay. But अभी आप पहले टॉपिक कर लेते हैं. And what happens is with every batch, for your batch and L3, after 2 batches, I will teach that as a part of your regular content. Lot of topics were L2 maybe 3-4 years ago. Now they are part of your L1 discussion itself. There is no hard boundary. मैंने कहा ना, जो भी आपके नोट्स में है और नोट से स्ट्रेट पूछ रहा है, I'll call those as L1. So 4-5 years ago, I thought कि ये important नहीं है, इसको बाद में कराएंगे. But today I feel those are important. You pull them in. So this will happen. What you looks like L3 now, after 2 attempts, they look like L1 questions. ठीक है? Okay, good thing you asked me. At least have some clarity about how you must prepare. Now let's start. I will not follow the book sequence or syllabus sequence. I have my own sequence of some topics. You keep pace with me. Okay. So I'm starting with a human evolution. Okay. I'm doing population. I'm starting with a human evolution. So the facts is that our species is Homo sapiens. Our species is Homo sapiens. And this is the consequence of a long history of a human evolution. Okay, the consequence of a long history of human evolution. We have evolved from our immediate hominin ancestors. We evolved from our immediate hominin, Homonin. We have evolved from our immediate hominin ancestors. I repeat, the name of our species is Homo sapiens. We are the product of a long evolution, and the immediate species from whom we have evolved are called as hominins, Homonin. So who are the hominins? They are a human-like species. They are human-like species. Okay? So I'll give you an idea here. Um, so if you know our geological time scale, we have a phase called as the Mesozoic times. Mesozoic times approximately 230, 250 million years, up to around 60, 65 million years. And after Mesozoic, what did we have? We had Cenozoic times. I think most of us know these terms. The Cenozoic is the latest phase after Mesozoic. In the Mesozoic times, the main life forms were reptiles. I hope you know what reptiles are. A crocodile is a reptile, dinosaurs were a reptile. Okay, so we had reptiles here, more reptiles here. And in the Cenozoic times, we had more mammals. Cenozoic is called as the age of the mammals. By the way, all of you, new, old, you must learn to write as I am writing. Okay, I will dictate some things, yes, I will do that, but I will not dictate everything. So be very alert. I'll repeat, I'll give you time. You miss something, raise your hand, I'll repeat again. But make sure you're keeping pace with you. सबसे बड़ा challenge होगा आपके यही होगा. You must maintain pace with me. Okay. For some of you, when you're starting off, you'll feel I'm brutally fast. And in time, you'll realize that I am actually very slow. Okay. You'll grow. So I'm sure the new ones have a problem keeping pace. The old ones are already bored now. तो इतने धीरे धीरे क्या पढ़ा रहे हो आप? Okay. So it's a cycle of your evolution into UPSC human beings. Okay. So अभी आप लोग hominin ape phase में ही हो. When you evolve into UPSC creatures, you will become better. So all of you keep pace with me. So side में ऐसे ही drawing कर लो. Okay. Draw two lines. Write down Mesozoic. Write down Cenozoic. Give an approximate time. 230 years, 250 million years. Okay. Reptiles, age of mammals. Okay. So keep jotting it down as I am speaking. Okay. So Cenozoic was the age of the mammals. Beta, you can't complain. This is one of my best handwriting. Okay. You have not seen my art form yet. Okay. I mean, with this handwriting, okay, my father would have given all the property to me. कि तुम्ही लायक हो, okay, for inheritance. Okay. ठीक है, so don't complain. Yeah, this is okay, extraordinary. Sometimes I also, surprise myself. Himanshu says legible. Absolutely, legible and legitimate. Okay. इसके बाद में तो disown कर देंगे ना bastard handwriting. ये मेरा है ही नहीं. पड़ोसी का है types. ठीक है? So get back. So Cenozoic time was the age of the mammals. अच्छा. Mammals में one important development were the apes. Okay. Apes, you understand? Chimpanzees, gorillas, apes. And from the apes, we had some branching outs. One branch out from the apes was the species called as gibbons. I'm sure you have heard about gibbons. They are black, long tails. Gibbons are called as lesser apes. They're called as lesser apes. Okay. And then we have chimpanzees. We have gorillas. Gorillas be the good range of the 4-5 types. We have one smaller type of chimpanzee called as bonobo. We have one type called as orangutan, found in Indonesia. Okay, these apes are called as great apes. They're called as the great apes. So we have apes. They are coming from mammals. Remember this. Mammals, one type of mammals are apes. From the apes, one branch of evolution was gibbons. We call them as lesser apes, the smaller ones. These are the bigger ones. We call them as greater apes. इसी में से there was one branch out, okay, and these became the hominins. Okay, so in the evolution process, one ape-like animal, okay, branches out. In lot of books, you will read about a term called as hominids. Hominids. Hominids includes all of this. Okay, so I'm talking about hominins. Hominid is an older form that includes even the great apes. Hominins are, these are the immediate ancestors. They are the immediate ancestors of a human species. Hominins. Likha apne all of you? Acha. Now, in this hominin branch, okay, so if I redraw this like this, there are series of hominins. One of the oldest one is called as, Ramapithecus. One of the oldest one is, Ramapithecus. We have found remains of Ramapithecus in parts of Shivaliks. Okay, and Ramapithecus dates back to almost 14 million years ago. Ramapithecus, then we have another one called as Australopithecus. Australopithecus approximately 3 to 4 million years ago. Australopithecus. And then we have a series of, okay, closer cousins of Indian ancestors. So we have Homo habilis. We have Homo erectus. We have Homo ergaster. We have, yes, but the closest one to man is a species called as Neanderthal man. There are many of them. I just gave you 2, 3, 4 of them. So we don't need all the names. It's more of anthropology. But I have some idea of some, okay, names. Okay. So Ramapithecus is the oldest one, about 14 million years ago. Australopithecus, I said 3, 4 million years ago. Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo ergaster, and Neanderthal man. In fact, Neanderthal man, this is far more recent, and this species coexisted also probably also cohabited. They lived together also, okay, with Homo sapiens. With Homo sapiens. Okay. Lot of species of Europe, they trace themselves from Neanderthal man. Right? And if I give an approximate idea about the timelines, which species was when, timelines mein Homo erectus approximately around or Homo habilis. Homo habilis around 2.5, 3 million years. Homo erectus, again around 2 million years. Homo ergaster, 1.5, 1.9 million years. And Neanderthal man, approximately, and both of them, this one about 4 to 5 lakh years ago, and Homo sapiens start appearing around 3 lakh years ago. Okay. Approximate sense of time. Homo habilis around 2.5, 3 million years ago. Homo erectus, this is the species that starts walking straight. Homo erectus starts using tools. Okay. And Homo ergaster starts using fire. Okay, slowly, gradually. Okay. So that's, but not control. Control of fire happens much later. Right? So this species, the Neanderthal man and the Homo sapiens, they are more related. In fact, Neanderthal man goes extinct as recent as around 70, 80,000 years ago. Okay, so for a good part of man's history, the two species have coexisted. They were living together. There are evidences that they may also have intermated also, right? So this is the, okay. So back to your notes and write down one point here, that the features of human species, the features of a human species and the distribution of a humankind, the features of human species and the distribution of the humankind is closely related to the evolution of the species, is related to the evolution of the species, So whatever we do, our features are what? That we can walk on straight two legs. Our features is we have a speech. Our features is we have hands which can hold the tools. Our feature is our eyes are in the front, a stereoscopic vision. These जो features हैं हमारे, they are the consequence of the life forms from who we have evolved. So maybe in a small box you can write down, okay, the features related to the biological evolution of man. So maybe in a small box you just write these points down. The features related to the biological features of man. So features like biped locomotion. Yes, some of you know these terms now. Biped locomotion, stereoscopic vision. We have omnivorous diet because of our dental structure. Like omnivorous means we can eat any type of food. Okay, we have a range of food. Okay, omnivorous diet. So basically we transit from vegetarian, non-vegetarian, some of us according to the days, right? आज सोमवार है तो नहीं खाएंगे, मंगलवार है तो नहीं खाएंगे. Okay, so that's a choice we have as a part of culture. Okay, we prefer being vegetarian. Okay, I mean, very interesting. Recently I saw an advertisement. I've always heard advertisements around we are pure vegetarian. I saw an advertisement of we are pure non-vegetarian. Even the vegetarian food, they promise that we will have some element of non-veg stock added. Okay, so those are cultural things. Otherwise, in terms of our dental structure, we have the ability of eating anything. Okay, omnivorous diet. Our feature includes large cranial capacity. Our brain, cranial is brains, head. Large cranial capacity. That increases our thinking skills. Okay, we have a very developed system of vocal cords. Our speech modulation, voice, talk, sing, whisper is because of our vocal cords, a broad range, developed vocal cord systems. Our feature includes opposable thumb. Opposable thumb, which basically means in my palm, 4 fingers curl in one direction, the thumb in this direction, the 4 not in same direction, and this helps me hold things. Opposable thumb makes me or helps me manipulate tools. It helps me manipulate tools. Okay, so put this in a box. What are the features of man's biological evolution? And these features largely have been inherited from the earlier hominins. We have inherited all of this from our earlier hominins. Okay? You have an idea about, now, origin and a spread of a human species. The origin and the spread of a human species. Okay, fine. It's a question that's valid. One of your friends asking me online, how is this part of geography? Okay? Rahul says, this is brief history of mankind. Yes. Your friend asks me, कि geography का part क्यों है? Why is it geography? Okay. So for that, maybe for some of you not initiated, geography is what? Geography is anything about the earth and earth's features. कुछ भी earth पे है, geo as in earth, study of earth. So whatever is on earth पे forest है, earth पे, you have got climates, earth has rocks, earth has rivers, earth has wildlife. Okay, anything on earth is part of geography. So earth is part of earth's features. Anything that is linked to man and environment relationship, this also is geography. There is forest, and I live in the forest, part of forest tribes. So this becomes part of geography. Let's study forest tribes then. I am living and cultivating the land. The land is earth. I cultivate the land. Agriculture is man-environment relationship. So agriculture becomes part of geography. I live along the shores and I have made ports for shipping. So ports are example of man's interaction with the coast and the seas. So anything which has man-environment relationship is also geography. Third, geography is about studying where what exists on earth. In short, we call this as a studying distribution of anything. Okay. The distribution, ये where जो है ना, this where is about place. Where is about location. Where is about distribution. Arctic regions away from equator is cold. Location हो गया. As I go up the mountains, it becomes cold. I go up means again location. If I go towards the seas, it becomes moderated. Again, it's about some pattern. So anything which has a spatial pattern, a location pattern, anything which has man-environment relationship, or anything which is about Earth's features is geography. So when I look at man and man's evolution, Lot of evolution was because of how man was interacting with the nature. Okay, the type of tools I hold is one type of interacting with the nature. And how man moves. Maybe man's evolution starts from Africa. And how did man get distributed? Kahan par we find Neanderthal? Where do we find maybe the races of Indian origin? In what places did evolution begin? So anything which has where part is geography. Okay? So population geography includes all of these points. So come back here. When I discuss this, you understand how I'm mapping geography with population. There's origin and spread. The spread ka matlab hai, it's about distribution. How did man spread across different parts of the earth? Okay? Now origin mein. Now ye ek debate hai that where did man originate? Beginning of man kahan hua hai? Most agree that it was part of Africa. There is this large lake called as the Great Victoria Lake. Countries like Uganda, Sudan, you have got Burundi, Rwanda, yes, parts of Kenya, as a part of Africa. This is the African continent like this, equator hai. Somewhere here is Lake Victoria. From Lake Victoria, we have the most famous river called as River Nile. Okay, so in all probabilities, most agree, because of whatever reasons they have studied, that man's origin happened somewhere here, around this part, around Lake Victoria. And from here, slowly, gradually, man has moved out. Man comes here. Ye to sab sea hai. This is sea. And this is Arabia. This is Asia. On this side, you have Europe like this. So in all probabilities, man starts from here, then starts moving out. Some of them come on this side, and some of them have gone towards Europe. Those who went towards Europe probably was the Neanderthal man first. And then from Neanderthal man, okay, again things changed. And on this side, other species, they have come towards India, they have gone towards Australia and so on. I'm sure you know about the people of Andaman Nicobar. We call them as Sentinelese population. We have Nicobarese population. We have Jarawa population. We have a tribe called as Ongi population. These populations are the first people who must have come into India from Africa and then must have been inhabited here. Some of them even went further. Some of them went beyond India. They went towards Australia and towards Pacific Ocean. Okay, so this is what is the pattern of how man moves. So write down. I'll give you the diagram eventually. Write down. Okay, I'll give you time to draw this. First, write down. The first point is that in all probabilities, the evolution of a human species, in all probability, the evolution of human species must have been around parts of Lake Victoria. Parts of Lake Victoria. In regions of present-day Sudan, in the regions of present-day Sudan, Uganda, okay, Kenya, okay, from where the human species must have moved and migrated out. Okay, I said when I'm discussing where, it becomes geography. So where did human species start? They started from parts of Central Africa somewhere. Number two, the evolution and migration of man the evolution and the migration of man is related to change of climate and vegetation in Africa. Is related to change of vegetation and change of climate in Africa. In Africa. Okay. Now listen to this. So, man was essentially an ape. An ape, a monkey living on the trees. Our diet was leaves, fruits, or whatever on the trees. So we call this as man's early species का arboreal life बोलते हैं. Arboreal means on the treetops. And back then, the forests must have been probably very dense. So it was easy for me to move from branch to branch, from tree to tree. But slowly, gradually, for reasons we'll talk about later on, Africa starts becoming drier and warmer. Okay. So from dense forest, Africa becomes semi-arid, today's climate called as savanna climate. In savanna climate, the trees are less. In savanna climate, you have got more open grasslands. So there are trees. So earlier, probably, this was dense evergreen forest, dense, closed, packed trees. And as a species, it could move from tree to tree. But then it becomes dry. I have a tree here. Then I have a grassland. Then I have another tree here. Okay. Then again, barren or maybe less vegetation. Again, a tree here. Now it's not possible for the species to be on the tree alone. The species must climb down now and start moving on the land. It is search of food ho, search of security ho, or search of home, whatever. So this change of climate and the species starting to move down, we call this as the savanna theory of man's origin. That when the climate becomes semi-arid and dry, and the trees are replaced by grasslands, and the climate becomes savanna, the species now starts evolving. Now the species will need to walk on the land. Okay, the species will need to hunt on the land. The species will need to make house on the land. Okay, and this probably started with Homo habilis. Homo habilis and Homo erectus were among the first ones to move down and start living and surviving as a biped species. Write down. Second point write down, that man's evolution is related to the change in Africa's climate. Man's evolution is related to the change in Africa's climate and the savannification of the vegetation. The savannification of vegetation and landscape. Savannification of vegetation and landscape. The hominin species, the hominin species must have been forced to climb down the trees. Must have been forced to climb down the trees in search of food, shelter, and security. In the search of food, shelter, and security. This phase was associated with the emergence of Homo habilis. The emergence of Homo habilis. This is called as the savanna theory of human evolution. This is called as the savanna theory of human evolution. ठीक है? So man originates somewhere in Africa, then the whole area becomes savanna climate, okay, and from here man starts gradually moving out. Next slide down. Next slide down. Man's migration and man's movement out of Africa, man's migration and man's movement out of Africa determines how the species got distributed. Determines how the species got distributed. इस थ्योरी को बोलते हैं आउट ऑफ अफ्रीका हाइपोथेसिस, OOA, out of Africa hypothesis. And on this is referred to as OOA theory or OOA hypothesis, out of Africa hypothesis. There are species in all probability starts from Africa and then moves out and spreads. So what I have done is I have bought a printout from the internet. ये Wikipedia में है, is nothing okay that you can't access. So I'll just show you this map. I hope all of you can see this page. Can you see this here? Okay. So, this probably was where human species first appear, and from here there are migrations happening out. So I said human species starts appearing around 3 lakh years ago. Okay. So 3 lakh years ago, say 2 lakh years ago, this is the species here spreading out. And from here, okay, you can see this branch here. Some species move towards Europe like this. So 40,000 years ago, okay, about 1 lakh years ago, it starts moving out like this. And the other species, it's moving eastwards like this. It's moving like this here. Okay. So towards India, probably 70, 80,000 years ago, okay, and moves further. And towards Australia around 50,000 years ago, and as recent as 30,000 years ago, we have the populations entering into the Pacific Islands. And meanwhile, you also have some populations that crossed China and they entered into North America here. Okay, I don't know if you know this or not. A lot of North American population are of Mongoloid origin, what we call as the Red Indians बोलते हैं. That is considered derogatory, but they are Mongoloid because it was the people from Siberia and parts of China, Mongolia, that they crossed over into North America. और यहाँ से they come here, they come down, and ultimately they have come towards South America. One of the most widespread races of the world is the Mongoloid race, okay, which is found in South America, found in parts of northern Russia, found in parts of Japan. You find Mongoloids as far as Southeast Asia. Okay, so the Mongoloids are far more widespread. Now, one theory also says that maybe Africa was not the only place of origin. Maybe we also had some origin from parts of China here. Okay, in China, there is a place called as the Yunnan Highlands, southern China, not very far away from Myanmar. So this area has some remains of very old human-like species and different from what we have otherwise. So some say, okay, maybe from Africa, we had the bulk of the population, but the Mongoloids probably started from parts of China. So that theory is called as out of China hypothesis. Okay. Right, next. Yeah, online you have some doubt. How they reached Australia? No, when they reached Australia, they didn't cross across Indian Ocean like this. Okay, they have come here, there are narrow, narrow water passages. Okay, they have crossed here, they must have built boats. Some of them would have risked their lives. So very slowly they have come here. And this is all, and in the past, ये सब कुछ connections भी होंगे when the water level was lesser. And that's how they have crossed. So it's not that they have come from here to here. I don't know if you know this एक experiment था that can man cross the oceans on primitive boats. I forget the man's, I think it was Hendrel, I forget the name. He made a boat out of grass. It's called as Kontiki. Go back and check in your Wikipedia what is Kontiki. Kontiki. Kontiki is a very primitive boat made up of reed and grass. And this man, his name is Henderthal, something of that kind. Okay. He proved that it is possible to cross the ocean on a small boat. And he sailed from Norway and he crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Like a small boat made of grass and reeds. And this Kontiki is also preserved in the museum. Yeah, you have read that in or heard that Discovery Channel. Fine. जहाँ से पढ़ने कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. So how did man cross? I mean, don't doubt the man's ingenuity. ये अलग बात है, ingenious होते होते we also become stupid sometimes. We are stupid mostly, but man is capable. Okay, the same man, Elon Musk. To me, he looks like a borderline case. Okay, brain extraordinary. Okay, but हरकत सब Neanderthal man prove हो जाता है. Okay, definitely gorilla, chimpanzee से ही आया होगा. The thinking, the type of mentality he has in terms of the fight he puts on. Okay? So it's possible. It's possible for man to cross these water bodies on small, small boats and small, small reeds. Okay? So write down next. Write next. There is a theory of parallel evolution. There is a theory of parallel evolution that asserts man could have parallelly evolved also from southern China. Okay. And the Mongoloid races can trace their origin. The Mongoloid races can trace their origin from southern Chinese province. From southern Chinese province of Yunnan, Y-U-N-A-N, southern Chinese province around Yunnan. जैसे अफ्रीका का population, Africa's beginning starts from Victoria region, वैसे Mongoloids probably started from southern China. Within bracket mention, this is also referred to as OOC, as an out of China hypothesis. Out of China hypothesis. So, you know, in our study of races, the three, you can say, fundamental races are Caucasoids, who make up the bulk of the people of Europe. We have Negroids, people of African origin, and we have Mongoloids, the people that make up parts of China, Japan, Southeast Asia. Caucasoids have a very strong relationship with Neanderthal man. Negroids से बहुत सारे species बने हैं और races आए हैं. One is called as Negrito. इसी का एक version है called as the Mediterranean. Okay, so there are races of man. Caucasoids is one race, Mongoloids are one race, Negroids another one. So we say the Mongoloids probably did not come from these two because इतने different looks हैं races के, is difficult to imagine all must have come from the same origin. So some say Mongoloids probably have the out of China wala origin, whereas Caucasoids and Negroids, I can explain this under the out of Africa hypothesis. ठीक है? Just have an idea. ये भी एक possibility है. Next write down. Man's spread from China. Man's spread from China. Sorry, from Africa. Man's spread from Africa. Okay, was partly towards Europe. Was partly towards Europe at around 1 lakh years ago. Towards Europe about 1 lakh years ago. And the rest of the population moved eastwards. The rest of the population moved eastwards towards South Asia, Southeast Asia, towards South Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, and Southwestern Pacific or Western Pacific. Western Pacific. Okay, so if you can quickly sketch this, try whatever way you can. Dhere you'll get nice with your maps also. Just as you all appreciate my handwriting, I will appreciate your drawing. Okay, so it's even then. That's okay. So man evolves here. He moves into parts of Europe, and the rest of the population moves towards India, Southeast Asia, crosses from here into Australia, into Southeast Asia. And islands of, Western Pacific, not Asia, Pacific. So, man's evolution around 2-3 lakh years ago, towards Europe around 1,100,000 years ago, towards India around 70,000-80,000 years ago, and by the time you come here it is around 50,000 years ago, and towards Western Pacific around 25,000 years ago. You don't need to make the complete map of the world. Okay, you just need to sketch whatever you want to show. How did man originate and how did man spread across different parts of the world? इंडियंस इसमें कहां आते हैं? अरे इंडियन तो हर जगह हैं. Now that Indians have discovered there's a place called as Denmark also. Okay, we did not know about Denmark till Donald Trump told us. अब वेट करो, वहीं पहुंचेंगे हम. Okay, Denmark में we'll have our लिट्टी चोखा. Okay. Okay, so Indians are a mix of lot of races. हम जो Indians बोल देते हैं convenience के लिए, the fact is there is no one Indian race. Indian race includes some Caucasoids, it includes some Negroids and Negritos, it includes Mongoloids also. So यही तीन fundamental races हैं. Okay, so Caucasoids, Negroids and the Mongoloids are the main races. All the others are variants. So India has all the three. Have you all drawn this, all of you? So I have drawn, okay, the out of Africa hypothesis and man's migration. Out of Africa hypothesis and man's migration. And like your diagram shows that some of this population, some of the population must have also moved towards that's North America, South America, like this. So some population must have moved across this into Americas, from here into South America. So ये एक और branch हुआ, and this probably happened maybe around 1 lakh years ago. Okay, and by the time they come here, it is again 30,000, say 40,000, 30,000 years ago. So right now, this is a gap. In the past, this must have been joined also, okay, because the sea level was less. There existed some kind of a land bridge between the two continents. Okay, and write a point here that the populations of North and South America, the populations of North and South America also have their origins from migrations across the Bering Strait, the Bering, B-E-R-I-N-G, Bering Strait. I hope you know this. There is a narrow passage of water called as the Bering Strait. So the people of North and South America have the origin from migrations across Bering Strait. Okay. Next sentence. The Mongoloids of East Asia. The Mongoloids of East Asia crossed over into the Americas. Okay. The Mongoloids of East Asia crossed over into the Americas. Therefore, the indigenous populations of Americas, have Mongoloid origin. The indigenous populations of Americas have Mongoloid origin. I'm just naming some of the people. एक तो एक generic term use कर देते हैं. A generic word we use is, we call the people as red Indians. Red Indians, because see, they're not really fair as in fair, okay? They have slightly darker skin. So when the people of Europe came into America, they thought these people look dark, but not as dark as Africans. So they did not call them as Africans, they called them as reddish brown skin. So brown skin, okay, their word was red skin. And that's how they call them as Red Indians. And why Indians? I hope you know that they confused America with India. Okay, so अब तो बोलते हैं it's definitely India. Okay, give us another 10-15 years. Okay, we are very efficient here. Okay, what we have done for South Asia, we can do it for America also. Okay, घर घर में खुशी फैलेगा और okay, हमारे यहाँ भगवान का कृपा okay, अच्छे से होता है. Okay, so we'll make it happen. Okay, so Red Indians or no India, I do not know, but they're definitely trans Indians, okay, across the ocean. So जो names हैं, like you have heard about Eskimos, I'm sure. Eskimos, the right word is, we call them as Inuits. ये भी Mongoloids हैं. Okay, we have some old populations here. Of course, the civilizations are now gone. The Mayan civilization. We have the Aztec civilizations. In Peru, we had the Inca populations, correct? Okay, we have the Amazonian Indians. We have the people of the Amazon basin. All of these people are Mongoloid populations. Mayans, M-A-Y-A-N-S, Mayans of Mexico. Okay, Mexico, southern US. Aztec, sorry, T-E-C. Aztec एक civilization था. Aztec civilizations. Incas, you still have Incas. Incas you find in parts of Peru. You have heard about this place called as Machu Picchu, one of those old ruins of Inca civilizations. Okay, yeah, so Incas, Aztec, Mayans, the Amazonian tribes, the Inuits, all of them are Mongoloids. That explains the people from here must have crossed over and they have become the population of the first Americas. Okay? So this is part of how the populations are spread across the world. Okay, the origin being Africa, and the African population ultimately becomes part of Europe and Asia. Yes. Sorry, 1 lakh. इसमें एक और zero ही तो है. Okay, no big deal. Yeah, no. It's 100,000. 1 lakh. 1 lakh, 50,000, 30,000. No, I think I made a mistake here. You are right. I mean, I wrote right पहले. मैंने यहाँ पर zero extra add कर दिया. Please rectify. Thanks for pointing it out. It is 10,000. 10,000 years or 15,000 years. And this should have been 4,000 years. 4,000, 5,000 years. I'm so sorry. Okay. This will be in the same range. Okay. So, again, 4,000, 5,000 years. Yeah, I wrote 1 lakh. It's not 1 lakh. It's 10,000, 15,000 years. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. 70 यहाँ पर तो यहाँ पर 1 lakh कैसे हो जाएगा? Yeah, please rectify. एक zero हटा दो. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now write down. Write down. The distribution of population. Take a fresh page. The distribution of population. Okay. no questions asked on this, but you must have some idea about where we have how many people, how they will change. This will be a very applied part of many answers. Okay, so the distribution of human population. Let's write down that human population is not uniformly distributed. Human population is not uniformly distributed. There is unequal distribution. There is unequal distribution. In fact, 3/4 of the Earth's surface is water. It is oceans. 3/4 of the Earth is water, oceans. Okay, and on the land, the human population is not evenly spread. On the land, the human population is not evenly spread. Okay, about 1/4 to 1/5 of the land is actually okay, habited. 1/4 to 1/5 of the land is actually habited. Okay, so human population is not everywhere, and in this we find what is the pattern? The pattern is that there is a hemispherical divide. We find more population in the northern hemisphere, because northern hemisphere has more land, as simple as that. In terms of pattern, there is a hemispherical divide. We have more populations in the northern hemisphere. That's one. We also find that there is larger population concentration along rivers and river plains. Is larger population concentration along rivers and along river plains. Okay. We also find that the tropical areas have more population. Okay, the tropical areas have more population. And the pattern tells us that some of the largest cities and some of the largest population belts are along the coasts. Okay, there is an hemispherical contrast. North-south divide hai. More people seem to live along rivers, river basins. Tropical areas have more population than the cooler temperate regions. Large cities, lot of population along the coast. In fact, if you look at the top 10 cities, okay, except Mexico City chhod do. All the other large cities, top 10 mein, they are along the coast and they are ports. You have got Tokyo, you have got Shanghai, we have got New York, we have got Kolkata, we have got Mumbai. Okay, Bangkok is also a port, if not along the coast, along the river hai. Sao Paulo. Okay, so except for Mexico City, all the major cities, top 10 wale jo hain, all of them are along coast, along ports. So I give some example. Tokyo, Yokohama. Tokyo, Yokohama is a port. We have Shanghai. Okay, we have Beijing and Tianjin. Tianjin is the port. Beijing, Tianjin, New York. We talk about Mumbai. We talk about Kolkata. Okay, London, the biggest city of southern hemisphere is Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo. Okay, so all these cities are along the coast. So the coastal areas have, okay, write down that 100 to 200 kilometers, 100 to 200 kilometers from the coast has almost 2/3 of the world's population, has almost more than 2/3 of the world's population. 2/3 of the world's population. Okay. So this is a brief, I said no, in geography a very important discussion is the patterns batao. Where people live and the distribution, can we see that as a pattern? Okay. Now looking at this, a quick analysis of the reasons associated with population distribution. Why are the people distributed the way they are distributed? The reasons associated with the population distribution. Okay. So the reasons we can divide under two heads. Geography में ये एक tool है. कभी भी आपको पूछेगा analysis or reasons, you divide the reasons into two heads. There are natural factors and there are human factors. Factors because of how we take decisions. The natural factors of how population is distributed and human factors. Natural factors में terrain matters. Terrain, hill regions, plains, okay, terrain matters. Okay. So under terrain, you'll find the hill regions, they are a sparse population, very less. Whereas plains, coastal regions, these have the bulk of the population. Terrain matters. Linked to terrain is water availability and soil conditions for agriculture. Okay. Along with terrains, the associated factor is water availability and soil for agriculture. That's why the river plains, the tropical, okay, soil regions, these will have some of the largest populations. Water availability, soil, that's how river basins and the rest. Okay. Natural factors may, climate is very important. Climate is a very important reason. Okay. That's why moderated climate along the coasts, जो neither ज़्यादा hot है, neither too cold है, the moderated climates of the coast have more population. Yes, you're right. Water and soil wala example is the northern plains of India, say South Asia now. This belt has almost 1/4 of the world's population. Okay, from Pakistan to Bangladesh tak. Okay, the Indus Plains, the Ganga Plains, Brahmaputra, the northern plains of South Asia. Okay, this has almost 25% of the world's population. Some of the rich river basins is a Mekong Basin. Mekong Basin has the bulk of the populations of Southeast Asia. लिख लो side में, ठीक है. Good thing you point out that. The examples of, देखो geography में यही खेल है. You must know the places and the names of the locations. Okay, the northern plains of South Asia. Okay, I said 25% of population. I added a Mekong plain, Mekong River of Southeast Asia, longest river. Mekong is across, Thailand, Cambodia, across, say parts of Laos. Okay, this is a very long river, Mekong River. Whereas in China you have this long river called as Changjiang River. Okay, the longest river of China. Changjiang, Changjiang River. Again, it has the bulk. Shanghai is at the mouth of Changjiang River. Shanghai. Yes, US में you know about Mississippi River. River Mississippi. Okay, river Mississippi drains into. Okay, अब तो गड़बड़ हो गया, अब तो गल्फ ऑफ अमेरिका हो गया, राइट? Okay. आज से हो गया. वो proposal कहाँ है यार? हाँ. So okay, whatever, Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico, ठीक है. So Mississippi River is one of the dense population. वैसे Canada में you have this river called as Saint Lawrence River. Saint Lawrence. It has the largest cities of Canada. So 4-5 examples, correct, you're right. So water basins and soil regions. Now come to climate. I said the coasts have moderated climate. Okay, the coasts have neither warm, neither cold conditions, not too hot, not too cold. Okay, and you can see this in Japan in particular. Japan mein one big island is called as Honshu Island. Honshu Island mein on the eastern side you have a current called as Kuroshio current. It is a warm current. So bulk of Japan lives along the eastern coast of Honshu Island. This is the island of Honshu. Hardly any population on the western side. It's a mountainous area hai, plus it is not as warm. Okay, so Kuroshio, okay, current, the warm conditions, and therefore we have more population along the eastern coast of Honshu. वैसे US में भी है. If you look at the population in US, okay, you have more people living along the Atlantic coast. Some big cities are here. Again, because यहाँ पर भी you have got a warm current called as the Gulf Stream. Okay, so add in your notes, please. Okay, Japan's population along the east coast of Honshu Island. Japan's population along the east coast of Honshu Island. And the population of US living largely along the Atlantic coast. The population of US living largely along the Atlantic coast. Yes, this is true for any location, not just. So, जो examples आपके पास मन में, he says, your friend tells us, the same is true for Australia also, correct? In Australia, okay, we have this city called as Brisbane. यहाँ पर Brisbane है. Somewhere here we have Sydney. Somewhere here we have Melbourne. Okay, so this is where the bulk of Australia lives. इसी बेल्ट में. Okay, and you hardly have anybody here. This part of the country is called as the Australian outback. Outback is deserts, outback is hot, dry regions. So nobody lives here. Yahi belt along the coast which has moderated conditions. But that's not as big as this. As though यहाँ city है नहीं. But small ones, as good as hardly any population there. ठीक है? So an example. So continue in the this column itself, that some of the least populated regions are mountains, Arctic regions. We have the deserts, mountains, Arctic regions, deserts, swamps, even equatorial forests, वहां पर भी बहुत कम लोग रहते हैं, or the equatorial forests. At the equatorial latitudes, okay, it is very humid conditions. The rainfall is heavy, it's also warm, it's difficult to live, it's almost like you're sweating continuously. So these are not the favorable area for living. Now, ये जो idea है, whatever I'm saying, that population distribution depends on natural factors, or the population distribution depends on environmental factors. ये जो idea है, this is called as environmental determinism. That environment determines whatever we do and whatever we choose. That this idea, okay, that environment determines, or environment decides human choices, environment determines population distribution, is an example of environmental determinism. Is an example of environmental determinism. DETR, example of environmental determinism. This is a school of thought that says man has no free choice. Whatever man does, he is dictated by the environment. Like, this is an idea. इसी के साथ लिखो, early geographers, okay, believed in the deterministic view of, early geographers believed in the deterministic view of all event and phenomena. All event and phenomena, including, they believed in, okay, all event, early geographers believed in the deterministic view of all events and phenomena and human decision making. Example, Aristotle. Had divided the world into ecumene and non-ecumene. Example, Aristotle had divided the world into ecumene, E-C-U-M-E-N-E, ecumene and non-ecumene. Ecumene basically means the habitable part of the world where man can live. Non-ecumene means where man can't live. He had divided the world into where man can live, habitable part, and where man can't live. And this ecumene, non-ecumene was on the basis of environmental factors. For example, he believed that the equatorial regions are non-ecumenes. He believed equatorial region, because of very high temperature, you'll burn to death, he said. He believed equatorial regions are non-ecumene. He said equator pe nobody can survive, it's as hot. Okay. So now we say that this is the wrong concept. Man can live anywhere because man has the ability of modifying environment. Write down that contemporary studies challenge such extreme environmental deterministic ideas. contemporary studies challenge such extreme deterministic ideas. No part of the earth is a non-ecumene. No part of earth is a non-ecumene. I hope you understand. If I have to modify, what degree of modification it badlega, right? Okay, if I'm living in tropical areas, maybe my house is of some type. When I go towards the Arctic region, my house will change. Okay, in tropical areas, I will use coolers. In Arctic regions, I use heaters. Okay, in the tropical areas, I will have agriculture. Okay, tropical crops ka. As I go towards mid latitudes, I will have temperate crops. So the degree is changing, that's all. And if I must want to live under the water also, I can do that. I can modify, construct. I'm sure you've heard about some hotels which are under the water, right? So some of us are creative. Okay, so you've heard about space station. Abhi Sunita Williams aayi hai. So I'm sure her second home is now Earth. Okay, her first home to ab space hi ho gaya. And give Elon Musk a chance. Okay, he too will convert what Pluto, Uranus, Neptune also into habitable. This idea that environment, okay, aisa hai ki I can't live at all, this ecumene, non-ecumene concept is now discarded. Okay, so what we have in place is, now we say that population distribution actually depends more on the human aspects. So physical aspect could have been good and valid for maybe older civilizations. Like otherwise, we more or less modify and we survive. Okay. So on the other side, write down that human factors are more relevant. Human factors are more relevant. Okay, in explaining the patterns of human habitation and population distribution. Patterns of human habitation and population distribution. Atul is asking me what? The idea of Aristotle is wrong. Is it decent to quote? Absolutely, Atul. Dekho, our work is not ignoring the older studies. A discussion chal raha hai, right? It's a discussion going on. Ki batao, why do people live where they do live? Okay, they live because of this. Who said so? This man said so. Somebody else comes and says, no, that is wrong. I think people live because of this. Okay, so even if they're wrong, they're part of the geographical understanding. Okay, ऐसा भी नहीं है कि environmental determinism पूरा का पूरा गलत है, ऐसा भी नहीं है. Okay, all of that some of you have read as a part of geographical thought. For now we say it's like a discussion going on. Discussion, yes. See, man can modify, but at the root of the factor, the natural factors still count. It's ऐसा नहीं है कि I have escaped the nature. Okay, my degree of modifications can vary. My degree of adjustments can vary. Okay, so I do have a choice, but does not mean I have escaped the nature completely. ऐसा नहीं है, right? So human factors are not independent of natural factors. That's our point. So now we know that the factors are a mix of both taken together. ये थोड़ी हवे में काम करी. This is working as a part of some conditions. So contemporary we say human factors are more important. In fact, you can add within bracket write down. यहीं पर you see on this side. Okay, if you are writing as columns, on this side write down that human factors modify natural elements. Human factors modify natural elements, but this does not mean man can escape the environment. This does not mean man can escape environment. So in human factors, what are the factors? Like technology is a factor. Human factors में infrastructure is a factor. Human factors में there are political factors. Okay, somebody says, you know, it's a part of our political strategy. Let us go and live in the Himalayas. The way China is doing right now. Okay, otherwise Himalayas में क्यों जाके रहेंगे हम? Okay, he says no. If we start living there, the land becomes ultimately ours. Okay, there is a right now nobody lives in Antarctica. Tomorrow they might decide कि यार नहीं रहेंगे तो कोई ना कोई ले जाएगा. China declares or US declares Antarctica नहीं बोलेंगे, okay, Chinica बोल देंगे or maybe Americana बोल देंगे, whatever, and start living there. Slowly, gradually, 50 years from now, you find more Americans, more Chinese, you have lost it. Okay, so political decisions also matter. Okay, where you're allowing people to live or not live. Okay, so examples of human factors are technology, infrastructure, technology, infrastructure. Okay, political factors. Okay, there are economic factors. Okay, so some locations are economically very, very attractive. Like think of such a difficult condition in Arctic region because there is oil, there is gas. So we decided, you know, Arctic region also we can have some kind of claim in terms of ownership. So ultimately economic factors matters. Okay, so the add-on here that resource-rich regions, urban locations, resource-rich regions, urban locations, okay, influence how people migrate and how people settle. Settlements also develop because of conscious strategic factors. Let's say if you know South America, for example, लेते हैं हम. In South America, you have this Brazil. Okay. Now in Brazil, this is a very large area called as the Amazon forest. This is the equator. Amazon forest has equatorial type of climate. It is not good for living. It is not good for habitation. Okay, mostly tribes live. The good conditions for habitation are along the coasts. So south में यहाँ पर Sao Paulo है. You go up, you have got Rio de Janeiro. You have got Belo Horizonte. Okay, you have got Recife. Okay, El Salvador. There are some places here. So if you look at Brazil, 95% of Brazil lives along the coast here. Okay, but the capital of Brazil is Brasilia, which is inside the Amazon. Okay, reason is a deliberate choice. They said कि अगर सब कुछ यहीं पर रहेगा तो ये तो कोई लेके चला जाएगा, right? Okay, so to develop this, to secure this, they said, let us move Brasilia inside. It's a deliberate choice. So Brasilia is in the state of Amazonia, which is not traditionally an important place for habitation. The same strategy, okay, Pakistan followed. Pakistan mein the bigger cities are what? Lahore and Karachi, and even a city like Quetta. So Kutch, Kathiawar, Jaisalmer. Okay, so somewhere here is Lahore, and somewhere here is Karachi. यहाँ पर Karachi है. And interest of Pakistan is what? Kashmir. The interest of Pakistan is Kashmir. So Pakistan says, if you are in Lahore, then this part will be go. Okay. Karachi बहुत दूर है. Karachi is among the biggest cities of southern, the largest port of Pakistan. So Pakistan deliberately moved its capital near the Indian borders, and we have this small village called as Rawalpindi and Attock. इसी को ही हमने change कर दिया as Islamabad. So Islamabad was because of a deliberate political decision to remain near the borders of India. Okay, so that area will have significance of power. Rawalpindi is an important military base. Okay, so it gives legitimacy for the claims of Kashmir. Okay, it's an example of a political decision where people live. Write down this point here. Write down the choice of Brasilia as Brazil's capital. The choice of Brasilia as Brazil's capital, or Islamabad as Pakistan's capital, or Islamabad as Pakistan's capital, is a deliberate choice. Is a deliberate choice because of geopolitical and developmental factors. Because of geopolitical and developmental factors. Is it okay, all of you? Okay. Chalo, fine. That's for today. We started the process. The old students can leave. I'll spend 5 minutes with the new students. Online, offline? Gaurav, just give me 2 minutes. The older students can leave. Okay, you know the process more or less. I want to explain and discuss with the new students. So online also the old students can leave, you can log out. The new ones, please stay back, who started the class with us today. Gaurav, wait, I'll tell you, wait. Hello Anand, good afternoon. Kanhaiya Lal, you joined in late probably. Good afternoon. Yeah. Take all settled. Okay, now, so I did get messages from quite a few of you asking me about the schedule, asking me about how can we start geography and how soon can we start geography. And like I said, the problem was I got delayed with my previous batch.